that I am committed to stop drugs, which means to say,
In this episode of Philippines Unsolved, we uncover the mysterious case of Philippine politics, specifically how two presidents reshaped the current political landscape, both within the country and beyond. On May 9, 2016, Rodrigo Duterte won the presidential vote by a landslide, serving as the 16th president of the Philippines from 2016 to 2022. He rose to national prominence in his election campaign through his tough political stance and controversial war on drugs. Duterte became media acclaimed for his crass attitude, often making headlines for his inappropriate remarks. His leadership, while celebrated by Filipinos for restoring order, sparked international outrage for its human rights violations, especially for the anti-drug campaign.
I have promised you something. Even if I lose my life, my honor, and even the presidency, gagawain ko yung pinangako ko.
Ano ka ba, sis? Bigat-bigat ng tension, nakakasimula pa lang.
Can't believe we started with this.
Kasi ginamit mo yung word na controversial. E di syempre, may mali na dun.
Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., son of the late former dictator of the same name, continued the family legacy when he was elected as the 17th president of the Philippines in 2022. His political comeback served as his attempt to restore the Marcos family image from his father's regime. During his campaign, he capitalized off the nostalgia for the 70s as the Golden Age, all the while downplaying the events of martial law. President Bongbong Marcos presents himself as a visionary for a bagong Pilipinas, but his rise to power faces criticism against those who will never forget the atrocities of his father's regime.
Ako, si Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr.
Under their reigns, Philippine politics has seen a shift towards strongman leaders who have changed the overall political norm, from Duterte's anti-drug campaign to BBM's attempts to rewrite history. The two presidents have actively shifted the perceptions of Philippine politics, leaving its trajectory uncertain. On October 7, 2016, Duterte landed on the French newspaper Liberation with the headline, Rodrigo Duterte, the serial killer president. The report summarized Duterte's first 3 months in office, showcasing concern over the extrajudicial killings happening under the anti-drug war campaign. From a report from the Morning Herald, Sam Zarifi from the International Commission of Jurists was quoted as saying, "I am not holding my breath for international action, but if these continue at the same velocity, I would expect cases to start popping up." Further, in an effort to avoid international investigations, in March 2019, the former president tried to withdraw the Philippines from being a party under the International Criminal Court, saying, "You do not scare me that you will jail me in the International Criminal Court. I will never allow myself to answer these whites. I am only responsible to the Filipino. Filipinos will judge, and if you hang me for all what I did, go ahead. It will be my pleasure." In January 2023, the ICC rejected the appeal.
Ang dami nangyayari.
At this point, he's internationally acclaimed for being a criminal who somehow took control of the presidency.
Which without a doubt he is. He even has so many other titles like the Punisher, Dirty Harry, even Trump of the Philippines. Sumusobra na ata, di ba?
These titles are a show of his supposed power, I'd say. He's seen as a leader with an iron fist in the Philippines. However, outside of that, he's an undisciplined authoritarian dictator with no regard for human rights.
Mas masarap ata yung title na yan. Eh si Bongbong, ano tingin sa kanya?
Similarly, an article by the Washington Post from April 2022 reviewed the campaign strategies of the now President Bongbong Marcos Jr. It focused on the historical revisionism that took place online, how the Marcos administration made use of disinformation to further win over the Filipino people. Alfred McCoy, a historian from the University of Wisconsin at Madison, said, Bongbong Marcos is as if Marcos Sr. rose from the dead, further noting that he believes that the Philippine economy will suffer under a Marcos win. Now, under his presidency, the Philippines has garnered international acclaim for being a key player in the feud between the U.S. and China.
Isa pa ito eh. He keeps saying that his leadership will bring a better bagong Pilipinas. But so far, all people know us for is that we've brought a dictator's son back into presidency. Alam mo what's worse is that he and Sara Duterte are going head-to-head in, as the BBC puts it, a high-stakes opera, teleserye. Tama naman sila. Parang teleserye nga talaga.
Lapit na nga sila mag-divorce eh. We've seen just how powerful they can be through their alliance. How the unity gave way for the rise of political dynasties in the country.
And it's so crazy how in the Philippines, these figures are so locally revered. Yet overseas, diba, we've got whole countries raising their eyebrows at us for the leadership we've chosen. That begs the question eh. How exactly will these types of people even have been able to garner this much acclaim in the Philippines? Eh kung puro negatives nakikita ng iba, ba dito sa Pilipinas?
On October 28, 2024, recent developments surrounding former President Duterte's war on drugs surfaced in the media. During the Senate's probe into his administration's anti-drug campaign, Duterte revealed that he had ordered policemen to provoke suspects into fighting back against the task force as a means of justifying having them killed.
Are the police being ordered to kill suspected drug dealers?
We have to kill them if they endanger our lives.
Ano? That's honestly so messed up, grabe.
Opposition Senator Risa Ontiveros would agree, as this sparked their heated exchange. Pero alam mo, ano pa mas nakakabahala?
Ha? May ilalala pa ba? Well, Pilipinas nga naman.
According to reports, after Duterte snarkily referenced his experiences and past credentials as a public official, he emphasized, and I quote, "Kung pabalikan ako, gagawin ko ulit yan." This prompted the eruption of applause from the Senate plenary.
Wait. Why do Filipinos still support the actions of his administration? Eh diba inamin na nga niya na ini-encourage niya ang pagpatay sa mga suspect?
I honestly think that what happened is just a surface-level manifestation of the long-running corruption in the country, especially during election season, na very rampant ang disinformation sa social media. According to Jason Cabanes, a professor at De La Salle University, politicians are now weaponizing disinformation.
And so I think this is how the politicians are weaponizing this information now.
Political camps are now hiring troll armies to manipulate political discourses and sway public opinions and perceptions. The anonymity of these trolls are hidden behind fake profiles as they pose to spread lies and false narratives. Not to mention, the field is financially lucrative.
Yung trabaho ko na i-promote yung kandidato na yun. Gumagamit kami ng iba't ibang SIM card, gumagawa kami ng mga fake profile, kumukuha kami sa iba't ibang...
Alam mo nakakatakot no? How poverty is used against the people para lang makakuha ng boto. Pero nakakapagtaka rin, bakit ang ibang mga bansa pag ang nagagawang i-criticize ang sarili nating gobyerno at hindi tayong mga Pilipino? O sadyang, ano ba, nagbubulag-bulagan lang ba tayo mga Pilipino?
Siguro, big factor na rin ng ideologies natin mga Pilipino kung bakit patuloy na pinupuri ang mga ganitong politiko. Our culture is very family-centered, and we are taught to respect the role of each member. Si tatay, siya yung malakas, nagdidisiplina. And I think that translates into the Philippines' desire for a leader who's a strong provider.
Tatay. Alam mo, now that you mention it, People referring to Duterte as Tatay Digong already speaks volumes about this.
Exactly. Even in political dynasties, their relatives are often voted for because they're expected to hold the same values as their predecessors, which is ironic because these politicians are not even appropriate role models to begin with.
Alam mo, may kinalaman din yung pagiging religious nating mga Pinoy eh. Kasi katulad ng Iglesia ni Cristo, na nagkakaroon ng endorsement, lalo na nakaraang eleksyon sa Uniteam, malaki ang impluwensya ng INC sa kanilang mga tagapagsunod. Imbes na isang rekomendasyon lamang ang pagboto dito, parang inimpose na siya through the practice of block voting.
Legally speaking then, the system has always been in favor of those in power. It serves their interests and personal agendas, demoralizing the lower class through oppressive state apparatuses that function by violence.
It really goes to show, no? How the patriarchy is embedded in the Philippine society. And at this point nga, we Filipinos should be evaluating where we anchor our morals.
The chaos of Philippine politics is truly a spectacle for the whole world to watch and criticize. It's a piece of disheartening news for the future of Filipinos. Will we ever be able to recover from the corruption brought about by past and current administrations, or will this cycle continue to oppress and compromise the nation's autonomy, safety, and development? With these yet to be answered, this mysterious case of Philippine politics remains to be unsolved.